No, Patrick.
No
And
Patrick,
Allison's on spring break.
yes.
In a minute.
Oh, that's
Oh, it's probably Brenda.
right. Okay.
Okay.
No, Patrick.
We're ready?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're
I
ready.
think
to go.
we're ready. Okay, so call the meeting at 7:01. Who, are you taking minutes or is Ethan, are you taking minutes since Patrick?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
You do a great job and we
You
appreciate
do,
it.
yes, we love you.
Hold on.
I'm sorry,
7:01 you said.
7:01.
It's still
Um,
7:01.
Move it, okay, great.
Still 7.
No fire to that.
We don't have anyone visiting with us, so we're assuming we have no public comment. The minutes are not here.
No, they came.
That's fine,
separately, yeah.
that's fine. I actually opened them up, downloaded them.
And I printed out a hard copies there in case somebody needs them.
Ethan has his red pen out. Is
Oh.
there anything that you want to say, Ethan?
Hold on, I'm not done. I'm almost done.
Yes. Where'd it go? There it is.
There's a typo.
There is a typo.
Hey, do you want to start
What's the typo that you?
on payment of the bills? It says a motion was made by Ms. Hannon, period, D. Maria, that the board.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming that's seconded by, or,
I think seconded by.
okay.
Maybe. Um, Under the president's report,
Uh-huh,
I could.
I was just looking at that. I don't,
I would adjust the language in the last sentence, are therefore ineligible to participate on the board. Well, maybe that's right. I don't know. I would clarify that to be a member because we can have out of town people, but not on the board. That makes sense.
Well, the interest from people to join the board, is that what you wanted to say?
yeah, I think we
Yeah.
need to rewrite that sentence. Just to say just that, is that we have, the board had also received interest in the board, in serving on the board from from people outside Pine Plains
And
that are not eligible.
the language of the first sentence there
Yeah.
is, it
Wonky.
introduced Ruth Cohn to the trustees who, it's not, it sounds like the trustees are,
Right,
it's an awkward.
okay,
Yeah, it should say Ms. Gunning introduced Ruth
Right.
Cohn, who has applied to become a board
Right.
member, a member of the board, to the trustees.
Right. It's
Or-
just awkward the way it was written.
yes. And I would also make the mentioning of other prospective board members a separate sentence.
Are you gonna send these to Patrick, or do you want me to?
You can.
I'll,
It's a little easier on me.
I will, just give me your hard copy of your notes, and I'll go through it on my own as well.
There you
And I will redline it,
And under our executive session, Jenna's last name is C-O-R-T. No U.
CORT, okay,
That's awesome.
yeah, you marked it, okay. Okay, so should we make a motion to approve the minutes with the corrections that we've identified and any future grammatical errors to be amended as well?
Yes,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Great, one thing down. We've got the bills next. Did, did we add the Nyla into the bills or?
It has not been received.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we just
we're
wanted to-
waiting for it, pre-approving.
Yeah, just to see if we want to do it. Yeah. I think it's due in May. It comes up for
Okay.
renewal in May.
Okay.
And actually, I'm not sure how much it is yet. If they're changing it. Because we did get a prorated
Oh,
voucher
last
last
year.
time.
Okay, okay. This is the final one, right? I mean, it says.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
replaced it.
Does anyone have any questions about the final cap?
My PDF isn't loading.
Everything seems pretty. Straightforward to me. Does anyone?
I can make a motion to approve the cap 250415F in the amount of $21,196.09.
Second.
Your second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi,
Great. Thank you. And then. Ted, do you have any words to talk about the?
Yes. I do.
You do,
Quite a few, actually.
okay, let's
Um,
hear.
Looking at the report that I submitted, January 2025 account reports
Mm-hmm,
and notes, REV. Okay, make sure you're on the REV one.
mm-hmm,
This was a change from the January report that I submitted at the board meeting. There was an error on that report. And the error is, as you look at it, you'll see intro, account 89, BOT fundraiser, donations corporate, donations personal.
mm-hmm,
The number should have been $1,134.98. On the one that was submitted to you, it was 08 instead of 98.
okay,
Okay. Second one now, if you go to the one February 2025 account report REV, somehow I missed putting on the side column with all the interactions into the accounts.
okay,
Okay. What I'm asking for the board is approval for Deanne to substitute the revised reports for the ones that are on the website so that
Okay.
the ones on the website are correct.
mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense to me. Can we have someone make a motion to accept these as amended?
so made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so those are done. Okay,
And if possible, can I get a copy of the secretary's minutes? So that my records will show that, because I don't get them from Patrick. And I thought they were supposed to be
Oh.
signed off.
I'll send you right now.
And I'll have Patrick add you to the list.
Can you open Word documents, Ted?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you should have it in a few minutes. I just sent it.
I only had one question on the financial reports, Ted, which is negligible to the approval, but our insurance for the library, does that get billed quarterly or annually? Because I noticed nothing's coming out of the line item still.
Sorry.
The library as a building, your contents is once a year,
Okay,
okay? Uh, the it's once a year.
Smaller.
You,
Mhm. Okay, so the insurance is
that's
one,
for- yeah, that's for the building, okay? And that's listed underneath building costs, all the way near the top of the page, okay? Now, the other insurance is for like disability and workers' comp. That's down below a little bit where it says insurance,
yes,
not part of the building costs.
okay,
And that one, the disability is every 3 months.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that what you? Yeah.
Yes. That's what I meant.
okay.
We did get the Stewart's grant, $750.
Nice,
And there was a transfer from the large account for the $1,085 for the outdoor sign.
right, okay. And we should be getting the check from the town any minute?
We got
it.
the tap,
Oh, we did? Okay,
but it came in April, so it's not showing up.
okay, okay. I was flipping through my brain going, aren't we supposed to get that by now? Okay. Everything looks straightforward. Do we want to vote to accept the March reports, expense reports as submitted?
Say financial reports.
Financial reports, thank you.
I can make a motion to,
Okay.
to accept the financial reports for March.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Right.
okay. Great. I have a lot of things to talk about as we go through the meeting, so if I start making a president's report, I'm gonna like
Okay.
just say it all over again, and nobody needs to hear me talk more than that. So I'm gonna hold off on my president's report and, and intersperse it as we go. So we can slide on to Jean, if you're ready.
Okay, so we are going to, the Friends are going to pay for another scanner
Mhm.
for the desk because it's making it very efficient, the one they're using. And
Mhm.
so that's the same we get from Mid-Hudson. And we are also getting the digital conversion station,
Can we explain? I'll explain that.
which is really neat. It will digitize the records of the library, the
Mhm.
old records, but it also can offer to the public service, and also, people can, I guess, do their VHS tapes
Mhm.
onto.
Oh,
Mhm.
Nice.
We're adding to it, yeah. And books, they'll be able to, it's a
And
TOS
books.
scanner, they can scan books on high.
We should make sure there's a copyright notice posted nearby, just
Okay.
FYI.
And also, we're going to pay the remaining 12 weeks of the Kids Club artist fees. Who, I guess the grant from the school,
Yeah,
from Burke
the seed grant.
Seed Grant. ended.
Brenna, thank
So
you.
We'll do that.
That's wonderful.
And otherwise, book sale time. I was here all day today. We're getting a big donations from Beverly Ditto, who's moving
Mhm,
out of her home.
mhm.
And she must have kept every single book she ever bought for Dewey.
Well, didn't her
Her
husband
son.
die?
Her husband
So-
died in the midst of
So,
everything.
yeah, okay.
And so the books are basically untouched, but she said we would read them once and then,
Keep
so
them.
they're in very good condition, but there's a lot of them. So we did go through them and dust them off, and Aiden actually helped, and Jordan
Mhm.
the first day, but I think she's gonna be coming every day with another, and she brings them in these big chewy boxes.
Mhm,
So we have to get our little or smaller boxes and
so
put
you
them
can
in.
just lift them around.
So that has started. We've gotten a few, couple of people wanting to help, so that's good.
Oh, that's nice.
It's hard to figure out a schedule, but
So Jean, there's a website called Doodle. Have you heard of this? So it's a scheduling website and
Oh.
basically people can put in when they're available and then can help you. There's also one called Sign Up Genius, I think. And that's another one where you can have them, Sign Up Genius might actually be better for this. And you can have them fill in. We used to use it for like book sale at my kid's school in the city. And you just would you'd say when you need people and then people would just assign
in the
themselves the
slots.
slot. So you may be dealing with people who aren't as computer
including me.
literate, but that is an option that
Mhm.
one can use.
Just
Yeah,
to help
I
track
just
it.
have to,
We can help you set up one for Sign Up Genius. The people at the schools, we use that all the time for scheduling class volunteer
it's not
stuff.
that so much as me trying to figure out when.
To have a meeting.
You have to teach people how to do it and
Mm.
all of that, so.
Yeah.
The woman that you recommended, and we actually got the notice from her. She's doing the,
Carol.
what's her name again?
Oh,
Carol.
Carol, she's gonna
Carol.
help.
So we've been in touch, and she's gonna come before she does the next program, which
Oh.
is next week, I think.
Uh-huh.
And, I'll fill her in on what to do. and-
Okay, good. Sounds
Because
good.
she's not available on Tuesdays. When we start out, we kind of start on Tuesday afternoons. The room upstairs, unfortunately,
Is not available.
was a mess because Joanne Keeler from the seniors group is trying to reorganize it. She moved the cabinets that used to be in the children's room to the wall,
Mhm.
and she's going through all their stuff and reorganizing it. So we went up to look at the room, and it was like, she had everything all, when you clean something, everything's all over.
Is there anything?
So Vicky and I kind of set it up in the basement.
Mhm. Is
On
there
the
anything
mats.
scheduled upstairs between now and the book sale? Or are you what's on the schedule for the time being?
No, but the week before,
Mhm.
but, so anyway, we've been able to, though, prior to that, to put our books in that room,
Mm, mm,
because
the back.
only the seniors use it.
yeah,
So there's always been room for us to
Mm.
put the books, set up our tables and put the books in
Exactly.
there
yeah,
to be moved out.
right.
And then the week of I reserved it as always.
Mhm.
And we try to work around. Well, the
Two
Tuesday
days,
class
yeah.
goes till 2,
Mm.
so we go up after that.
Mm.
And the only thing was Bobby Kennedy got in touch with me about the tango class, which is Wednesday. So it's kind of late for us to,
Can
it
you
goes
cancel the
till,
class?
it goes till 9:30.
Wait, so it's the tango, it's the Wednesday of the week of the book sale. He needs to cancel
Yeah.
the class.
He can't, they won't do it.
Why not?
It's not
So
ours,
listen,
but it's.
so
yeah,
last year, neither Amanda or I really knew they were doing it. It was like a newer
Mhm.
program, I think. And so they arrived and the books were all
Mm.
set up in the room. And so this year Amanda said, I will let them know for that week. And so he emailed and said, you know, we love what you do, but we reserve it every Wednesday till 9:30.
Well, I
Good
think
luck with your,
next,
good luck with your
Yeah.
campaign to become town supervisor.
Oh, so I said, so we discussed it at our friends
Mhm.
meeting and Pat and Eddie said, well, I can offer the Lions Club
Mm,
and she's in charge. So I finally got back to him and I said, I explained that, you know, it would be hard for us to set it up Thursday. He did say, you know, you could set it up in the back of the room by
Uh-huh,
the
yeah.
bathrooms, but
yeah,
that doesn't help us
Thanks.
in the rest of the room.
Thanks
Why
so
can't
much.
he just accommodate it 1 week?
1 week.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I think, but
So what did he say about using?
so he said he was open to checking with Pat. I gave
Okay,
him
good.
her phone number. And I said, otherwise, we'll have to get together and I'll have to see what space you want to reserve, you know, save for the,
It's a tango class. It's not cancer surgery. Can you just cancel 1 week?
Well, if he
You
can
would
have it at the
think.
Lions Center, then maybe
Yeah.
they can, that the
And
pavilion,
then
then maybe
maybe
save
we
it.
can talk to Amanda about canceling
Or
it
maybe
on
they can do
her
it at the
end
Sissing Center.
for next year.
Well, I think she
You
must,
know.
I'm assuming she told him unless he just knew from his
Well,
experience.
she may have just blocked out. He's like, I wanted every,
Every
Thursday
Wednesday,
or whatever
yeah.
the date is, Wednesday
Yeah.
night,
And
right?
then just block that.
And she
But I
just
think
blocked
we
it out
have
and she
to-
didn't, she
and
didn't look far
didn't-
enough
yeah.
in a hat advance to see that there was.
We'll have to see if
I don't
we
know
can
what-
have a
I don't know if
conversation, yeah.
She said she was gonna let him know. Yeah, and you could
Okay.
cancel it one night, but
Mm.
they really, I mean, people come from all over, it's
Mm.
grown.
It's great, but I mean,
Yeah,
Mhm.
if it
and
were
then,
Christmas.
you know,
it
we
would be
do
canceled.
accommodate, we do leave a couple of the smaller tables for the seniors to do their games on Thursday.
Right.
And
So the first day of the sale is Friday,
the first sale is Saturday,
Saturday.
but
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Okay.
work.
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work.
I have a question. Do you take puzzles for that? Or no, you don't?
Jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah, jigsaw puzzles.
We did last year.
Mhm.
We sold some of yours that you
Okay.
wanted.
I may have some puzzles.
I may have a stack too.
And Fee may have some puzzles she wants to get rid of too. I'll ask her.
We can give you puzzles from the shop.
Oh, well, we have one round table with puzzles on it. So last year, that's what we
Mhm.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, so here we go. And I'm going to Sadie's
Graduation.
graduation in Boulder,
And is that,
May. May 8th and 9th.
okay,
Oh, it's early.
And yeah, it's during the week.
yeah.
Doesn't help.
Get colleges
So we're
to,
flying out to that.
That's
So,
exciting
yeah.
then.
So, and my usual volunteers for the sale, I think are gonna do it again. And David Anderson always helps with setting everything out, so. So it's exciting and then it's also, you know, crazy.
Right,
Okay,
sounds good. Dan,
Okay. I wanted to thank the Friends for the Digital equipment. That's gonna be really
Mhm.
good. What we're doing is capitalizing on the fact that we needed that scanner to do all these 30 years of records, to free up some space. So
Mhm.
we're just creating a digital scanner kind of kiosk for patrons. Let's see, we got the ALA grant announcement, permission to announce, so we can announce that. I finished all the training for that. I have one online course I need to finish, and then we can start interviewing people for what we need to do with the grant. Given the circumstances of what's changing with Social Security and everything, I imagine we will completely have to revamp what I had originally written for, but it's easy to do. It's
Mm.
such a they've done a phenomenal job of supporting the librarians, the libraries, and how to do this grant, how to work this grant. It's amazing. They should deposit the money by May 1st directly into our checking account. Ted, I've been keeping an eye on that, but they haven't, it's supposed to be direct deposited, the $10,000 from the ALA will be direct deposited into the 89, but it's not there yet. Let's see. Stewards awarded us $750 to support summer reading book bags. We received $2,000 from the Berkshire Teutonic Group for programming, for just general programming. And that came in last week. Let's see, I applied for another grant through the Dutchess County for youth services, development program funding, as well as there was another one I forgot to mention for furniture, but I haven't seen that one come in yet. I don't know what's going to happen with that one. I applied for some science kits from the National Library of Medicine for summer activities. Something weird went with that one. I just happened to press the apply button a week before it was due and it wouldn't work. And they said, oh, it closed today. So it says April 1st. It said it was closing on April 1st, but I don't know what's going to happen with that or not. We may or may not get it. She allowed me to go ahead and put a Word document in, and the administrator was going to put it into their system for us. We'll see. And I did have to join that organization, but it was free. So it's a library, some sort of
Great.
medical library association. Annie and I are still doing the Digital Equity Academy. It's finally starting to become usable and relevant. And it should be really, really good for this ALA grant. We've hired Kira McCadden, who prefers to go by McCadden, as our new youth programming coordinator. She started on April 1st. She's hit the ground running with she's set up a kids club spring break program for this week, and we've had 20 kids today and
Wonderful.
20 kids yesterday, something like that. So today was art day. And we also had a booth at the Stissing High School Career Day on April 11th. We had 130 kids come by the table. We had, I don't know how many receipts or program things we got or surveys we got. I did another survey. We got like 75 or 80. So we haven't monitored, we haven't inputted those yet. Let's see. Oh, and I received a very nice note from Nancy Wingrowski about appreciating Annie's work with Tech Time with Annie. And she said it was a nice handwritten note, but she said she wants us to please let the program continue because it's invaluable for seniors. And I was actually thinking about increasing the number of days to do that, because we've got a
How does
lot.
Annie feel about that?
Well, we're talking about hiring somebody else to do it. I have
Okay.
somebody else in mind who would be very good at customers doing some things like that. So it would split up her time doing more complicated things that she does with some of the seniors to doing the more common things that would be easier for somebody to do just with iPhone stuff. Like
Mhm.
that becomes, but we're talking about that. We're still in discussion. I need to protect Amy's time though.
Yeah.
For program, anybody got questions on staff or grants or anything like that? No? Okay.
Great job.
Thank you. Kids Club, so that we're doing the Kids Club, which is turning out really well. I also hired somebody else. Our normal student helper could not help this week because of spring break, so I hired a person who's been at the library quite a lot, and he's doing a great job, and I'm so proud. He's a local graduate from a couple of years ago.
He's great.
He is,
He's so friendly
he
and so
is.
nice and
He is.
helpful.
I'm just
And
thrilled.
volunteers to help. He said, can I take the sign out for you? I said, yes, you can.
His Aiden Malvis.
Yeah.
Okay.
He already graduated high
Yes, he
school.
did. Yes, he did. But he's been really wonderful. Thank you. Let's see. So we'll keep going, oh, so I can start doing bus service, requesting bus service from the schools now that we have a programmer who can help manage the signups for that because of the number of kids participating that will increase. And I'll try to get the upstairs reserved for those days as well, because we'll need that for overflow, because we do not have enough room for 20 kids in this area is kind of really too many. But we'll start coordinating that with the schools for buses. We've included the Pine Plains Riders Group in our calendar because they needed our Zoom as far as for their meetings, because they didn't have a paid one and their meetings go over an hour. So they're part of our programming, and that's perfectly fine with me. They're meeting online now, but they could.
They
Yeah.
become part of our statistics. too.
Yeah, but they could also start meeting here in person, because they used to at one point before COVID.
Yeah, before
They met
COVID,
upstairs, okay, they can meet in here too now.
Mhm.
Let's see. Free Tango, we're still helping them publicize their program, and we've been getting 15 a week for that, for their free, from 6:30 to 7, where they have their free tango lesson. Managing conflict effectively, that was a good session. That's a very good program. I'm very pleased with that. We had seven people that started up, and I'm having the staff, we're all doing that because we need that. I mean, conflict management, we have that sometimes in the personnel and patrons and stuff, so we're all taking that, but it was very, very good, and
I'm
so
sorry, I wasn't able to,
come to the next one if you'd like.
if I can.
We're also gonna Zoom it, and
Okay.
because that's part of our, I'm making a push to make things more accessible for disabled people or people who cannot get into the
Mhm.
library at night. Let's see. Legit, we'll start that back with McCadden when she gets done with the Kids Club. We'll start the teen board with Legit back again. English lessons are ongoing. Story times. We have a volunteer now for Saturday mornings, like every other Saturday morning, and Patty's helping with that. We were not able to do it this past Saturday because we all got snowed in. But we got 4 inches in our area, so nobody could get out of the driveways. It was really wet snow too, so she had to cancel. But she'll do it again in a couple of weeks. Attendance on Wednesdays is picking up. We either have 9 or 5 or 6 or something like that. It's been kind of strange. Here's our analytics.
You got that certificate that I sent you?
Yes, I
for
did.
the-
I put it in your folder.
Okay, good.
If anybody sends me their certificates for training, I put them in their folders.
Excuse me,
For the-
who is Ann Perry again?
And Patty, she's the
It's Michelle then.
Oh,
in
did
your
I?
report. It says Perry.
oh, I'm sorry, that should be
Your
Patty,
report.
excuse me.
Oh, what's her name?
Patty.
P-A-T-T,
Yeah,
P-A-T-Y,
Patty, I think,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm sorry, I meant,
as in Patty.
yeah. Let's
Is
see.
she local?
Mhm, she's in Milan.
Okay.
The things that have increased a lot is Hoopla and Canopy.
Sure.
The usage of that has really increased a lot. We're a
I
little bit,
thought Canopy was dying off and now it's surging again.
yeah, I think they added a bunch of TV, is that TV shows on Canopy?
Yep.
Yeah, they've really
Great.
made an attempt.
Have they changed their pricing at all?
No, no. So that's that. Has anybody got any questions on statistics or anything? Programming? Have I missed something? Did I forget something?
Yeah, looks good. It looks good.
I did want to mention about grants. I'm not sure what's going to go on with grants anymore. I'm getting the sense that some things are changing with either we shouldn't rely on grant money for some things.
Yeah, I sat in on Zoom with Mid Hudson Library System talking about sustainable funding for libraries and really urging people to start annualizing the votes, the 414 votes. That so that the increases would then be, kind of built into the process. And one of the things she said, and it was interesting, and I'd like to figure out like whether other libraries in the near area also do this. She said we should be getting 90% of our operating budget should be coming from the vote. So that, but I think that I think we've been not fundraising enough, and we're so far behind with the number that we've been getting from the town that we're gonna have to, I think, keep doing the fundraising for the time being as well. But I think the fundraising can pay for programs, can pay for, it's just not the like everyday, the salaries, the the books, the stuff like that. That's the stuff, the building costs, the salary costs, that's the stuff that should come really from the vote. Beyond that, we can fundraise for, special things, special events, wanting to add more programs, but that was how I interpreted what she said. She did offer to, like help and come in if we want to talk about it. But I think we're gonna have to start, getting used to having to do that pretty much every year, if not, I mean,
And we have
I'd
enough
like to
time-
say
We have enough time to get it on
we're,
for this.
we can do
development.
it if we work really, really fast. The nice thing is we no longer need 2,000 signatures, we need 25.
Right.
That is actually the big thing that makes doing the annual vote much easier. Yeah, I ran through the calendar backwards. The petitions have to be with the Board of Elections first week in August. We could vote everything in on July 15th, but let's not do that. So we really have to be ready we have to do the cap override and then create the petition once we have the number decided. So that we need that by June 17th, and then we'll push to get the petitions in. The petitions would then be accepted by the board on July 15th, and then we also have to verify with Madeline that she will be available to Madeline and or Judy would need to verify those 25 signatures.
So when do we have to start our budget process?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
our bylaws say
pretty-
July is when we normally would start.
Right, we're gonna have to start doing it earlier.
Earlier, yeah.
And to start doing this on an annual basis, we're gonna have to be doing it earlier.
So we'll have to
Um,
adjust that for the future.
Yeah.
What you doing tomorrow?
Well, what
Did they
I,
say how many libraries do it annually? 'Cause I don't think
They
they
want they
No,
want all of
but
them to
they
do it.
really wanna start
yeah,
making everybody do it annually.
the ones that did this last year, every one of them passed, even the one in
Yeah.
Hudson. So, and they
Yeah.
passed comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but on the budget, I was thinking, the budget that y'all did for the vote was a good budget, and we just add a percentage to it. We just look at our numbers and just add a
Right now.
percentage to it.
Yeah,
And then, because the thing about the grants is I've noticed, I really think that, there's gonna be more people applying for a smaller pool
Uh-huh.
of money. And so we can apply for
That's
them, but we
correct.
will not get as much as we hoping for, even, a smaller percentage of what we were
right,
needing. So,
right.
it's not gonna be it will not fill the gap.
Was there any reason given in that meeting as to why that's happening? Is that a federal problem? Because we get a lot of money from the state, correct? Or at a state level?
The IMLS, the money that comes to the state for a lot of the library grants, the building grants comes from the federal government through IMLS,
Yeah.
and that's been gutted.
So a lot of
It's
the,
been deleted.
it's a pass through, a lot of it, some of it's passed
Yeah.
through. So like, Overdrive and things like that is subsidized for smaller libraries. It's from what I understand, and it's complicated, but we receive benefits from IMLS through Mid Hudson via those pass-through grants.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
but that's not the only grants I'm talking about. I'm talking about social grants, private grants. The amount of money that people are gonna be requesting now is,
As federal money dries up, everybody's gonna be going for these other
Mhm.
grants. So then it's gonna make it harder, truthfully.
yeah.
You're gonna get a
And
smaller and smaller percentage.
that's
Right.
right.
Well, that point right there, I think is part of our messaging when we go out for a vote this year.
Yeah.
That's the core thing.
People have to know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think,
Well, to make our number, it's almost a 40% increase. So we can't do that, obviously.
right, so we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to,
$166,000 from the town,
right.
and we need $233,000.
Well, 90% of the operating budget's supposed
Okay,
to
so-
be from the town, so it's,
Okay,
but it's
so
another,
30% still seems high.
yeah, it does. Okay, so we have to,
Yeah, so
we really,
yeah.
we have to think about it,
Yeah.
and, we aimed really high for fundraising this year.
Mhm.
Because of,
Yeah.
that catch up that we're still doing. So I think some of it is gonna be, we're still catching up, from, decades of underfunding.
Yeah.
So, that's why you do the cap override, we have to sell it.
And I just think we need to figure out like what is a palatable. If people figure out what this percentage increase is. So
Mhm.
what is a palatable,
Right.
percentage that we're increasing? Or are people even gonna? Are you
No.
people even gonna know?
Yeah.
That's the other question.
I gotta, I mean, in looking at the first tax bill with the library line on it, everybody was shocked at how good old Frank, said, I realize I'm paying for it, in my tax bill, he goes, so it's my library too, and it was always his library, but, he, I think now that people see it on their tax bill,
You feel ownership?
adding, so, okay, let's say mine is $89 a year, I'm guessing. Adding, 30% to that goes up to what,
Right.
like $1.25. So, I
Yeah.
mean, 125, so we're still not talking, like huge numbers. But,
Do you
yes,
think that, and I'm all for this, I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that we message it properly, particularly considering all of the
Mhm.
brouhaha around this library, and there wasn't last time, do we anticipate any
negative.
negative campaigning against us? Is that something that we would? I mean, my guess is
I don't,
probably not, considering it's an election year where there are people who are trying to get on the town board, that if suddenly they were anti-library, that
Anti-library,
would
they would-
probably affect them. So I'm kind of, as I'm thinking, I'm
Yeah.
thinking and talking out loud. So maybe there wouldn't be. Maybe
Yeah.
this is actually the perfect year to do it,
Mhm.
and then it becomes road.
Yeah.
If we're you're saying 40% to get to the 233
So yeah, it's a
mark
a little bit
roughly.
less than that.
That 233 is going to increase over the next.
Yeah,
So like you just said, it's gonna have to be tiered over the next few years. If we
Right.
come up with that percentage, and it's not just a budget for this year, but it's a budget plan long-term for the next 5 years.
Right,
we tried to do that for the 414.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
then,
then
but we were again,
staff changes,
we
we had
were-
a lot of.
we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
staff changes, but we also were fighting that uphill battle is that, yes, we planned it out for 3 years,
Mhm.
but like, once it arrives, it's hard to, when you have so many things you wanna do.
We're living paycheck to paycheck.
We all
My
live
point is,
paycheck
if
to
we
paycheck.
go with the long range plan and we present that, that might be more palatable to say, okay, this is our
Right.
deficit that we're operating with currently.
Right,
It is not feasible or realistic to ask the town to increase it that
Right.
amount. So here is our long range financial plan.
sure.
And was it sold last year as a 3-year plan?
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, but like,
It was a final, it
Rough
was
numbers.
one number, but we were talking about it. So when we presented it upstairs, we did show the 3 years, thinking we weren't going to go
but
back.
there were only 3 people that came to that meeting,
Yes.
so it was,
I mean, I don't know who would even remember,
yeah,
but
Stan,
Stan Herson, exactly, that's it.
But the numbers can be rough numbers, but as
Mhm.
long as we, as long as it's presented that we have we're thinking, future thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
If
Just that we're
if
going-
asked, you have
And
an answer that
Retort, yeah.
I
is. yeah.
do also think
Yeah.
that, in addition to this, we also need to start thinking about a new strategic plan. Cause we did a strategic plan prior to me being on the board. There was a strategic plan done, I think, 3 years ago. So yes, even though it's a 5-year strategic plan, you have to start doing a new strategic plan before the old one expires. So we have to start thinking about it. Not necessarily doing it simultaneously exactly, but we need to start thinking about doing. Okay, that's 2 of my things. Okay. We need to vote to accept the director's report. Can someone make that motion?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
Great, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. Okay. Facilities.
Okay. As I said, the Friends are getting us a scanner so we can convert 30 years worth of library records to digital format, which will
Mhm.
hopefully free up some space. The 2D scanner, we've said that, I appreciate that. Rich Harland has secured a very large Vizio monitor from the school. They are surplusing, they're getting new monitors at the school, so he got us one of the old
That
ones.
will replace it.
Yes, because this is a TV.
Right.
And so we just have to procure a base for it. And I'll find that when I find out what size the Vizio is, and I'll go pick it up when
Okay.
it's ready to go. But I really appreciate him doing that. We also got the camera in. I have to install it. I'm gonna have to put it up on a wall because it doesn't do well on the shelves. I can't really see anything, so I have to get a screwdriver and do that. Let's see. Mid Hudson, oh yeah, this is interesting. So Mid Hudson has secured Amazon Business Prime for us. We do have an Amazon Business account, but we did not have Prime. So I would,
Great, now your shipping's free.
right, so I would accumulate $35 worth of stuff so that we could
Mhm.
do it. Now it's free. So that's they got it for all the libraries in the system. So yeah, that was really nice. I installed doorbells on the inside doors here and that door over there for accessibility. If someone has problems with the door, they each ring a different tone, so you can tell which door they are.
Oh, that's nice.
And
So is that for the exterior door?
for this exterior door and
Okay.
our
Okay.
interior door, I still want an interior automatic door opener. This
Mhm.
is not
Not
a
giving
replacement
up,
for that.
yes.
Yeah, I'm not giving that up. we still need to move the TV. I'm not, so for Brenda's vacuum cleaner, I would like to get a Shark, just a this carpet's not challenging at all. It's
Mhm.
backless. And we also need to get a 50-foot extension cord because there are not enough. She's
Right.
dragging around her own. And that one that you gave us is really good, but it's too heavy. So we need a smaller gauge 50-foot cord. But
Mhm.
I would love to get one because we have terrible ones now. What she's using just spits out mud. It's not working. It's not a vacuum. It does
Yep.
not suck. So can we, do we need to move? It's like 200, I'd say 250 would give us a nice Shark and the cord. I don't know. I think it's like 136. I saw something somewhere, but it's not
Okay.
expensive. But I think it would do a lot
And
better.
then what would that come out of?
Probably that would come out of facilities, I would think.
Ted, do you think that's right? Facilities for the vacuum?
I don't know what you mean by facilities.
Or
The
building,
capital, the lodge account?
or can we just,
Well,
it's
you're
a
talking two
supply?
different things.
Well, what would you take it out of?
Well, are you talking the category or are you talking where to get the money? You're talking two different things.
I guess we need the answers to both of those questions, yes.
Okay.
Um,
The
that's,
money,
I was thinking the account, what account would it come out of?
the account probably, you want to use up the large account, so you can
Okay,
use the large account to take the money
Okay.
out. Okay,
mm-hmm.
and
So
then
that would. oh,
you
sorry.
you can probably take it out of the large account and assign it to other and equipment costs.
Right, okay.
And if I I'd like to make a suggestion. You were talking 200 and what?
250? I don't know.
I would suggest you make it 300. And if you don't use it, you don't use it,
Okay.
rather than go over and then you have to come back again.
Right. Fair. Okay, so,
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the vacuum and related accoutrements in the amount of $300. Be taken from the lodge account.
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. And phones are still on the back.
Yeah, I'm not even, I can't even deal with the phones right now. It's just, I don't need that. And that's all on facilities. Did you,
Mhm.
I think I got everything. Did you?
That sounds like everything. Okay. Let's move to the sign.
Okay, so we herding cats, getting everyone to find a date.
It sounds like we're
We're
closer.
close, we're very close. It looks like it's gonna be the 24th of April after 2:30, but we're still waiting to hear back from two people, one person. Carl, I believe.
Carl.
Ed said yes, Ray said yes, Brian said yes. So we're just waiting to hear back from Carl.
And of course, it's gonna rain that day.
Eddie said yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
So.
Yep.
Once we have that,
and we're charging the battery as we speak.
and I think we should, buy some, solar lights from Home Depot or Lowe's or Amazon to light the
Okay.
sign. I think that would be on both sides. I think that would be a nice thing to do. it's
If
lit
we
up at
can,
night.
yeah, that's, I don't know. I haven't looked into those, so.
I have them on my property. They're
Okay.
like $25.
Okay.
They're not that expensive.
No, they're not
If
expensive.
we create a list, we need to get a couple of bags of Quickset,
Okay.
for the holes.
Okay.
So we need a list and you can give it to me and I'll go to Liz and
Okay.
take care of it.
And then,
And then we need the hanger for the
we need the
sign.
hanger and I need to, they have the open sign in Millerton as well. So I'll send a picture of it. It's just basically a long sign that says open like that. And we can just get one in green and hang it off.
Mhm.
It'll look really nice, I think. So. You should probably order it from Amazon.
I can't remember who had, somebody had a wooden one that was really nice. I can't
We
remember who
can't,
though.
so we don't wanna add anything below. We had at one point wanted to have one that you could hook on and off. They didn't want anything lower on the sign to block the view. So that's why we thought we would just add the flag, cause it's a little bit less, but,
Yeah, it was a side post. It was built like the flag. I think it was
and
the,
you like,
I think it was Big Rock.
okay, I can go look at it.
Yeah. It was nice. Anyway.
Okay.
If whatever lights you get, just make sure they're dark sky compliant. Under 3,000
Lumens,
lumen.
okay.
2,700 is
Are we gonna
preferable.
have to talk to the pen?
No, as long as they're,
They're not permanent.
as long as they're the right
Right, yeah. And don't point them straight up.
dark sky compliant, that's right.
Yeah, they have the ones that I have like a sort of a lip on the top of them so that, I mean, the light goes that way, but it doesn't go that way, so that was a very. Alright,
Okay. Sounds good.
do you wanna talk about the grant writer now or not yet?
We didn't put it in a slot, so. We'll make that fundraising. Yes, let's talk about choice words.
Okay, so everyone has the handout from Choice Words. They are a grant writing company. You can also look at their website if you would like to. The town is going to hire them to be the grant writer for the town, and we have proposed that we join the town as it will make it easier for the town to sign up for this, and it makes us look like we're good partners with the town. And we are interested in committing $3,000 for 6 months, for a 6-month period. We can cancel the contract at any time with 30 days notice. But we thought that 6 months was a good time period to see, how we can work with them. We would have the same grant writer as the town, which
Right, which I think makes sense.
yeah, because there will be some grants that we might want in tandem with the town, and I think in a small town, it's probably just best for the person to understand who's
Right,
going
start,
after what.
yeah. The contract, potential spam, sorry. The contract says we would have to pay, the retainer would be $500 at the, shortly. And then it would be, they would invoice us 500 each month, or if we start using our hours faster, they would invoice us faster.
So we asked for 5 hours a month, but it's a bit fluid, like, you might use 7 in 1 month and 3 in the next month or
Right.
whatever, and they don't, it's cumulative, it's not like you use it or use it or lose it situation. They are the ones who got the funding for the Skyway over the Hudson, and they've gotten a lot of other funding, so they can go after both private grants for us and also federal, if there are any federal grants left, and state grants. So I think it's personally, I mean, I know we've sort of preliminarily voted on this already, but I think it's a really good opportunity for us to try it out and see how it works. It frees up a little bit of Deanne's time. We also have a list from our architect of some grants to go out after. These Choice Words have done library grants before. We specifically asked that question. And they do know our neighborhood. They work in our neighborhood. So I think it's a good. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it's,
Right.
we'll just add another 1% on our 414 vote, $3,000.
Right.
So I'd like, should I make a motion?
Yeah, I think in the motion, just before we say it, we need to pre-approve the payment because they are saying in the contract, Ted, that they expect to be paid 5 days after the invoice. Is that standard or no?
Well, it's a retainer, so a retainer you would pay right away. That
Payment
makes
should be
sense.
received within 5 days of invoice issuance.
When are they gonna issue the invoice?
I don't think,
Monthly.
I don't think that if you make the payment within a week, if you say that
Yeah.
you're cutting the check, I think that's fine.
Right,
But having just hired several lawyers, they expect the retainer right away.
afterward, Choice Words will invoice Pine Plains Free Library monthly for 5 hours of work each month until the contracted 30 hours have been completed.
So Ted needs to tell us what account we should take this out of as well.
Right,
I was thinking that we take it from the Perkins grant, but
I think that's what I was gonna suggest too.
Annie, do you want to take one of these home for your
Oh,
father?
yeah, that'd be
too?
good. If
And
we
we'll
need,
send him, we can send him the contract.
Yeah,
as well.
I can send a,
Can you send that around? So I can
Yep.
see it?
yep, it just,
Is there anybody else that has less to do with our participation, but are there any other organizations participating with the town or in conjunction? with them?
Not that
No.
Janine has told us and
yeah,
so,
I don't think so from the way the emails are floating around.
Hmm.
do we know what the retainer is? Did they get?
$500.
We have to do $500. Which is, it's $100 per hour, 5 hours per week or per month. So it'll end up being $3,000 that we're committing.
So do we need to, so Ted, do you see what's going on? Did you hear that?
I hear it when you make the motion, just mention the Perkins grant.
Okay,
Okay,
is that okay to take it from that?
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
Okay, so I make a motion that we go into contract with Choice Words for a 6-month contract where we would get 30 hours at $100 an hour, billed at 5 hours a month. And we will pay a retainer upon 5 days of signing the contract. And we will use the Perkins grant to cover the $3,000 cost.
okay.
Can someone second that?
Second.
Thank you, Ethan.
so
Oh.
Ted, that'll work out so that when they send me the invoice or they send us the invoice, you can cut a check at that point or because we don't have to wait?
I will. Do you know when the retainers bill is coming?
I believe the town is I'm gonna send this signed to Janine, and I'm assuming they will.
They're voting
Um,
on it on Thursday.
They're voting on it Thursday at the town board meeting. So I think it's gonna go to them, so maybe by the end of the month, we're gonna need it. I'll ask Janine specifically
I'm gonna
when,
pull $500 out and
Okay.
transfer it, and then when the bill comes, we'll just pay it.
okay, that sounds perfect.
Thank you.
We do need to,
Did we vote?
oh,
All
all in
in
favor?
favor? Aye.
Hi. We do need Dan to, write up we need to write up sort of like what our hopes and dreams are, and what the library does. So, I think we can tell them what grants we've gotten in the past. That might be helpful as well. I mean, they
Mhm.
know about, the Dee Dee grant, the Michelle grant, the Stewart's grant, the Dyson grant, but all of these other types of grants that we
Right.
get. And sort of what our areas of focus are.
Okay.
I mean, by this point, I would take anything we can get.
Yeah, true.
A question?
Hmm.
Carrie mentioned, sometimes it would be 5 hours a month, maybe more, maybe less, but you've limited in your, a motion to 5 hours.
Well. Okay, I can amend my motion to say that there may be months where the hours go over 5 hours and there may be months where they go under 5 hours. But that the
Total
the-
contracted is
is
30
30 hours.
hours.
And so we may fluctuate in that time period. I don't think it's gonna be, I'm not overly concerned about this.
It's
It's
a
the same-
cumulative total. of
Correct,
Right.
3,000,
same with
Right.
the architect. so,
Not to exceed 3,000
Right,
in 6 months.
Unless, and I'm, and they've left, fuzziness for continuing, at the end, if we're happy with this, we can renegotiate.
and we can also quit after 3 months if we
Yeah.
hate them, and we just pay them for the
True.
3 months, so.
Yeah, there's a 30-day
Termination.
termination clause.
Yeah.
When do you need that, by the hopes and dreams, or
I think by the time we get within the next couple of weeks,
Yeah,
by the end of the month then?
yeah.
yeah. And I think we should include some of that, what we talked to the architect about, like that.
Okay.
That stuff, if we can find funding for that, I'd be,
Do we want to talk about that? The meeting with the architect, or are we not? Claire's like, I just want to go home.
I do just wanna go home, but, let's get through, so we voted on this, yay. I will print it out and sign it and hand it to Janine. We wanna look at the policy review. I was hoping Patrick would be here to talk about that. I don't wanna keep always kicking things down the road, but did he insert anything to this? So we're gonna have to kick these two down the road to when he's here.
Can
That's
we
just,
add other policies for next month and
yes,
keep these?
I think that's a good
I was gonna
idea.
ask that, yeah.
Let's do that. Okay. I think that's, everything. For the committees, do we have any old business?
What are we doing as far as moving money
That's what I was
into
gonna ask.
money marketing accounts? Because especially if we just got the check from the town,
Right,
Now
that's
we have a
now's the time we wanna do that.
Yes.
I'm gonna say that I Allison was dealing with it and I wasn't paying that much attention, and that's my fault. Cause I'm probably gonna have to sign whatever we sign, so we're gonna have to circle back when she's back. I'll
So
try to
we'll follow
reach.
it with her next week.
Yeah, we'll ask, and then we'll bring it up
He-
next week
The
or next month.
just as an FYI, the newspaper spoke to Allison about the same thing. And in the end, they're not going with who Allison suggested. They're going with another bank out of like Utah, maybe, that
Mhm.
is giving them a 4.5% return. So just something to consider, and I can have the newspaper tell
I-
Allison as well,
Right.
if we were interested in
Right.
that. I mean, I might be more comfortable just going like Bank of Ulster or something, which is what.
Yeah, I
did.
think we'd wanna keep it
Local.
sort of local.
I want whatever makes us the most money. Period.
Okay,
Really?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
care if it's local.
okay,
So,
That was important to a degree, and then I started talking to the banks locally, and
Uh-huh.
it doesn't even compare.
right,
Well, we need to get as much as we
Yeah.
can.
okay. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely have that back on the agenda next month to finalize it. I'll get Allison to
And renewing with Nyla, did we want to talk about?
Yes,
Nyla?
so that's old business. We got new business. We're gonna get we've been members of NYLA for this portion of the year since we agreed to do that last year. The renewal's coming up. Can you speak to how it has helped you, how it feel like, I mean, like, do you have stuff to say?
I'm for them. They have done, they do a lot of budgeting work
Mhm.
they go up to the state and they lobby for libraries, their members as well as other
Mhm.
libraries, and they were the ones that call to action.
Right.
So they ask people to write letters, we write letters, but they do a lot of that. They also do a lot of education. They send out weekly newsletters that are very informative about what's going on in the industry, what's going on in society, and things like that. So they are absolutely worth the money. They truly are, as well as the American Library Association.
Great.
When that comes back up, we should definitely
Okay.
renew that just for their lobbying efforts, just
Mhm.
because they also have but yeah, for immediately for the Nyla, they are absolutely, and now it's become even more critical because we don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So I definitely,
I
Okay.
make, we should I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we renew the memberships with NYLA and ALA when they arrive for another year. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
What are the amounts?
so for the Nyla, I am not sure, because we got a prorated one, but it's coming up in May and I'll find out what that is. And they may have to change their structure. I don't know though, so I'll have to see, but it's not,
It's
150.
usually not, yeah,
It's
it's usually
not a
not
lot.
much more than
This
it.
is what we're repaying.
It might be negligible, but I'm voting no until we know the number.
okay, let me
Okay.
see what.
Why don't we just say we approve it as long as the amount doesn't exceed a certain amount? Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Say it again.
We're adding a contingency to membership categories. This, our join form has been temporarily closed due to updates required, reopening the form the week of this week. Organizational memberships. Looks like
We can save it until they come out with their numbers, because it's
I
next,
think it looks like these are
did they?
these are 24, 25 numbers.
Ah,
Um,
so we would be
so we would
350,
be 350
yeah, 350.
annually.
Combined, or that's for one, or?
That's for Nyla.
Okay.
That's for a full year. We got prorated last year.
Uh-huh.
ALA.
ALA we just paid and it was
Yeah,
135,
Yeah,
something like that.
so it's under 500 cumulatively for
Yes.
this. Both,
You okay with that?
yes.
okay,
But we don't, our ALA is paid in full for another year
Mhm.
till 2026. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you put a cap of 500 on it?
No, we just realized it would be about $500.
So Nyla is going to be 350. ALA is like 135, or it's like less than 150. So total it would be, but we've already paid ALA for the year.
yeah,
So
we're
we're
very
fine.
small library, so
Yeah.
we're 100, it's 190.
190, okay.
For ALA, so it's a little more, so it's like, it's not $600, but
Who seconded it? Claire made the motion and
who's seconding it?
Ruth did.
Ruth,
Ruth.
all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
okay.
Thank you.
Great. We were gonna do an executive session. I talked about the 414 already. I don't think we need to talk about that anymore. There were a couple other things. Are they? I'm not sure they're critical at this moment. We're holding off on the ICE policy. Do you have anything you need to? So let's, since nobody else showed up, for board members, for new board members, we don't need to vote on anything, so let's adjourn.
So, hold on.
Oh.
So we have a new board member that we already voted on.
Who hasn't shown up to attend one meeting yet,
Is
I
there-
think.
Is there communication between?
I had a very bad month of communicating. I was in Spain and Portugal for half of it. And came back and was like kind of fritzy. So I didn't get in touch with her to remind her. I will get in touch with her, and then there's a new board application that has shown up. So
Okay.
we've got two people potentially.
That's great. There's one that mentioned something to me, and I said with the addition of Ruth and the other individual, I said, hold off until next year.
Okay, yeah,
Because then that keeps us staggered.
Yeah.
And she was very on board with that, so.
okay, can you give me a name?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, we'll do it after.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
it's not the person I'm gonna call, so you've already spoken to them.
On the topic of the board application, I'd love to see our board application updated to a fully virtual,
Mhm.
either a
Mhm.
jot form or
Agreed.
it's okay now. There's things on it that we could make it a little simpler.
I agree.
Is that something? Okay. I can work on that and
Yeah, I think, yeah, I agree with that. Is that all the new business?
That's fit to print.
So we're not gonna talk about the architect?
Oh,
oh, yeah. We got time. We're all here.
Yeah.
Pass the coffee down.
You wanna talk about it?
yeah, we spoke with the architect
You came here.
who came here. We walked around, we looked at spaces. There were a couple of easy fixes that we could do with a little expense to make things easier. There's a wall in the last room that we could use some of the shelving from downstairs. With a little adjustment, there's some chair rails on the wall, so we can pop those off the wall. We could even get three. I think three would fit in that space. And so that would be like instant new shelving that would solve the space problems in the other room. There's other things we could do to tighten up the shelving or to using the bottom shelves, get stools that people could sit on so that they could reach the bottom. Suggestions of shelving inserts that could be put that would allow the books to be slanted back so we could see their call number on the lower shelf. And then spreading stuff out a little bit more. And then there were a couple more things we were talking about that would to create a private space using the center alcove area here. Trying to use something kind of a semi-permanent wall that would do that, but there's a couple of things we'd have to figure out, whether it would impact the heating and ventilation in that space, if it would impact the ventilation in the rest of the space. But there was a couple of solutions that would be not insanely expensive choices. And then we talked about the children's room, or children's area. One thing would be closing off those windows, so without addressing the wall, the round wall. We could solve some of the sound problems a little bit. I'd like, there are ways we could reorganize the way the shelving is in that room, kind of push the shelving towards the back where the TV currently is that we're planning to remove from the wall. If we move the shelving back there, we would end up with a more open space that the kids could be in, but it does bring the noise forward. So that's why, like, figuring out ways of closing that space off might be helpful too. Is there anything I'm forgetting?
Oh, we would be able to increase the shelving in their room with taller shelves if we shut off those windows, or if we even in the children's room, if we
Yeah.
would need that's more of an expense though. That's getting new
Right.
shelving. But it would
Yes, new
accommodate picture
shelving
books and
is-
stuff.
Yeah, that's, and it's a necessary thing to think about.
But you would have to see what's going on in there.
Yeah,
Well,
before.
one idea is just put glass there.
Yeah, but one of the things he suggested is that we have to take bites at the project. We're not gonna do one whole renovation of the
Right.
building. We don't own it, and so we're never gonna get grants for any of it, but we could write smaller grants for smaller pieces of it, but we need to know what the big plan is. So, he was gonna start drawing up some of it, and then we'll end up having that before we need to go for
Yeah.
a grant.
And then redoing this
Ah,
area, is on the table as well, just trying to make it a little bit more
The tech center
user friendly
being,
and using that dead space over there, using the dead space or the poorly used space in the front hall, closing up this window here into that room so that we can use that for more
maybe
space.
creating a closet space for storage,
Yeah,
so that the storage gets out of
Moving
unders and
this this Pine
Collection.
Plains collection somewhere else, using this as more shelving for this area.
Do you know the history of this cabinet?
The library paid like thousands of dollars
Yeah.
to have it built
Okay,
by,
so it was built for us. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it's not like something that would, if we sell it, it would offend somebody greatly, might offend somebody greatly.
Ted, do you remember who the carpenter was? I know his name, but
Was it De Groot?
who?
Yes.
The group.
De Groot.
De Groot?
He had a shop over in
Boudreaux or something?
Milton. I know, it's been years, I don't know.
So he's from Millerton.
He
But
was.
it
I
was
don't know.
purchased for the library, by the library.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, the library board.
That was
he
really
designed
good.
it for this.
Okay, for this space particularly.
With the
Okay,
incorrect glass.
But Marguerite might, I don't know if she'd remember who the
okay.
carpenter was.
I'm not
I mean,
sure,
I know
I'm not
because
sure that
I think I
matters so much.
know who it is, but I don't know because I think he did some work in Kate's house. When
I just, my worry about this is, like, if someone had donated money to get this piece of furniture built and we then want to get rid of it, will they have a problem with that? Because the truth is, the collection's not housed particularly well. The glass, I don't think, is UV protecting. So the books aren't being protected from the sun, but they're, we're using, half of it for duplicate storage. This is not, it's not protecting our collection. And
It's a beautiful piece, but it's not conducive
It's
to the
gonna say
space
it's-
saving measures we need.
Right,
in this building.
right.
And
exactly.
yeah, and
Thank
this
you for.
whole
Sure.
collection needs to be
Yeah.
called down.
Yeah, we need to look into what it all is and what is the true value of the pieces. I'm gonna see if I can get Diane to participate. with some of
Yeah,
that.
it's been.
Is Mike, sorry to interrupt, is Mike Manning still coming
He
on
does.
Saturdays?
Mhm.
He's active with the
Yeah.
Little Time Partners. If you could touch
Maybe we
base
can,
with him,
yeah, we can,
might be easier.
that's a good, unless he's working on something else you're needing him to work on.
He's
He's
a
doing
library
book
buddy.
sale stuff.
He's a library buddy, so he
Okay.
helps on
I
Saturday.
know it was cleaned, gone through. I don't, was it Marguerite that did it? I think she might have done it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got the New York Times volume that we don't really need. And I don't know what that role is and, we don't know what everything is and, like, we need to know whether we really need to maintain it as a collection. We'll figure that out shortly this year.
Are we getting a bill for the gentleman that looked at the library?
We have
Retainer.
a retainer with him, so it's just coming off of that. We paid him with a grant,
Prepaid. him.
prepaid him with a grant, several years ago.
We have
It
about
was,
$12,000
was it-
left with him.
was it the Michelle grant?
Mhm.
It was
More.
I don't remember when it was. Yeah, we just,
Had money, right? It was left.
we had money that was gonna,
No, the Perkins grant is the money that we are given.
Oh, okay.
So that's the $50,000 that we're gonna take the $3,000 out of and we paid for something else with the Perkins grant as well, like.
we paid for the
7,000.
website.
Computers,
Website,
the
okay.
website.
The
computers.
the grant money, the money that went to him to prepay was a grant that was expiring and
Yes.
we needed to spend the money before it expired. It was a couple of years ago. It was the first year I was here.
Yes.
And so he had already started working with us and drafting up plans, so we just prepaid him for future.
How did you prepay him?
He billed us.
This
What?
was like 3 years ago. We'll have to go back and find it for you, but it is,
Yeah, we didn't want to lose the money, so we had him bill us for the full amount, and then we didn't end up using the full amount because we didn't
Right.
move forward with what we thought we were gonna move forward with. So we had basically half of the money left over.
yes.
And nobody knew about this?
No, we knew, we've known. We knew that we had money left over, that's why we had him come back in. I brought him back because I knew we had
We
still.
had
we
money.
still
I
had money
hear you, but
sitting there.
I'm saying to you is that for 3 years,
Well,
We didn't have anything we
To do.
needed for him to do.
but now we want to, I don't want them holding on to $12,000 of
Forever.
hours forever,
Right.
so. I was like, let's have him come back and see what we can do that we might actually be able to raise money for, so that we do use his services. He is a library architect.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, and so we want to see what he can come up with that would actually work for us, and there are things that we need help with here.
my question is, how come I didn't know about it?
I don't know. Ask Alexis. Call Alexis, Ted. Ask her. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Ted is not happy.
But that's when we did it, was when Alexis was here 3 years ago. It was actually done just for,
There's
It was the
distancing
la-
herself from it.
no, I'm just I'm just thinking about it time wise. So it was that first year I joined, we did it at the end of the year that year. But so it was 2023,
I mean, I feel like he's looked at this space.
several times.
Yes,
Yeah,
there was gonna be a room in that little space that
Right, we
goes
were
to the
talking about, we were
garage,
talking
that
about,
goes to the garage, that
Yeah.
goes to the,
Station has evolved incredibly.
yes. Yeah,
what?
Yeah, he drew up
The
plans.
conversation evolved from doing a complete renovation to segmented smaller
Right.
things.
But
That
I
would be
mean,
more
at one
fiscally
point, there was
feasible.
gonna be a
they were
a
gonna
room
fill in the
there
floor, yeah.
that goes to where the stairs to the fire
Never got
escape
built.
is or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, the plans.
Well,
were-
there's a hole in the floor where they were gonna build a staircase down to the basement, but
Yeah, I mean,
Never.
he's been,
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was even when Veronica was here. I don't know.
I don't have a problem with him doing it. I have a problem not knowing about it.
Okay,
Well, we can go back and look and see what,
we'll look at
what
when the
those-
dates were
It was
and
the
when it
was
happened.
22.
Okay,
22, she said.
I mean, I would assume you had to have known about it at the time, right? If we paid him?
I'm looking to see if I can find like
No,
any.
I just paid a bill. I'm sure that if from what you said, he sent a full bill.
He did, and he also did work that he didn't bill us for.
Oh, wait a minute. If he didn't bill you for it, then we should be having a bill for him coming now.
Well, the truth is he should send us a statement
Correct.
of, so they are doing, his office is doing some work. And then I believe they should send us a statement, of how much we've now used up, and we can certainly make sure, we see that. And you see that.
Yeah, I remember him being involved when Janet was still here, and she sold her house during COVID.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So can his office send a breakdown of everything we've given him and a line by line amount of what he's already billed
right,
and what's left?
can,
Yeah, I don't have, looks like I lost my emails after where the invoices would have been, so it's somewhere before April of 22.
okay, which was before.
It was Beth, Beth was it, it was with Beth, yeah,
Under Beth. Yeah, let's ask him if he can give us
I can do that. Mhm.
a report of what's been spent.
And also you might be able to look through the director's email and see, it's because it's Alexis using the director at Pine Plains email. So
Mhm.
if you go back to with Paul Mays, you could probably find
Oh.
it.
we'll look for it, Ted. We'll look and see what the emails were and what grant it may have been.
Okie dokie.
Okay, is that all the new? Oh, no.
That was such a sincere. I have one question. Has there been a discussion? I think you have spoken to Janine about the possibility. Anything we do within the library has to go through the town
Yeah.
structurally. Have we taken temperature of?
No,
No, but I don't think that,
as
I
long as
don't-
we're not doing
I
structural
don't think
work.
us changing so my personal opinion is, I don't think if we change the circulation desk, that the town is gonna have a problem with that. You do?
It's in our lease that if we make any changes or improvements.
We told Janine we would run anything we wanted to
Yeah.
do, but by them, yeah.
And so that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
also may need to have an extension of our lease. Our lease only goes for 2 more years, remember? We
Yeah.
might need to have a 10-year lease in order to get any grants.
Or 50.
We need 2025 would be
20,
better.
Well,
So-
we're gonna have to bring that up in the near future. Because we don't wanna wait till the last minute to renegotiate the lease, but for those reasonings.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting conversation, actually.
Mhm.
Maybe a conversation
It's
for
giving-
January.
Yeah.
After the,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, exactly.
fair.
Motion to adjourn.
That kind of.
All in favor? Aye.
Did you